Previously on Pixelmon. I survived 100 days in Pixelmon. I enjoyed it so much I decided to do another 100 days to see what else there was to discover. I didn't just want to wander around aimlessly for the next 100 days, so I decided I want to set a few more goals for myself to try and complete. So I wanted to get all the plates to summon Arceus, so I wanted to spend a lot of time in Ultra Space in these next 100 days trying to farm everything. And I wanted to also venture into the Nether, so it's something really new to me. I've never done that before. So we start off with me in Ultra Space, and the place looks amazing. I love the moon jumping. So first thing we did was try and catch a Glimmet. One thing about Ultra Space that came very clear to me all of a sudden was every few steps, if you were stood still long enough, there'd just be a horde of Pokemon doing a multi-battle against you. And this was getting very tedious very quickly. I discovered something really amazing really quickly, is there was a Dracovish just literally wandering next to a Beast Ball. So I was like, I absolutely love this Pokemon, his Sword and Shield, so I was like, I have to catch this. I honestly couldn't believe the next thing I bumped into in this Ultra Space place. I actually bumped into a Kabutops of all things. I was looking at getting some of the fossils, and it was like, this completely skipped that step, which is amazing. I started to wander around a little bit more, and I came across my first raid in here. And it was an electric, nothing special, but I had to just jump in there and try it. Sent in my Zarude, absolutely wiped the floor with it. I tried to catch it, threw the Pokeball, Ultra Balls there, tick tick, tick tick, and we caught it. Let's go. As soon as we come out of the raid, an entire horde of Pokemon jumped me as usual in this place. Even though this place is kind of scary by the way it looks, I'm absolutely loving this moon bounce thing you do. Just going boing, boing, boing. It's just absolutely amazing. And also I'm hunting down all these Beast Balls because that's one of the goals I set myself, was to try and get all the Arceus plates. So Beast Ball, yoink. And then straight into a horde. So I'm just doing my usual yoink, boink, boink, boink. Beast Ball, Beast Ball, Beast Ball. And I seen the coolest looking Dragonite fly by. I honestly could not believe how cool this thing was. I did try a few times while I was in here throughout the 100 days to try and get near enough to want to catch it. Never worked, so I just carried on with my moon bouncing. I thought I might try a different biome as well, but getting through this one was tricky enough because the amount of times I was jumped by hordes was insane. Every time I just see a Pokemon, I was like, oh my god, that looks really cool. It was like boink. Oh, guess what? Horde. And then what we did is we came across like a jungle biome, an ultra jungle I think it was called. And this place was amazing. It had so many really good Pokemon. And it was just horde after horde after horde again in here though. So I just tried to get through it as quick as possible because looking at the map, it looked like there was another biome past this jungle. And I was hoping it was like a desert or some other biome that was a little easier to traverse through. So I just carried on going through, catching everything I could literally get my hands on. Traversing was a little bit difficult in the jungle, but if you got to the treetops and did your little moon bounce, it was so good. So we just carried on through here for a little bit. One amazing thing I did come across though, right on the edge of the jungle, I noticed underwater there was an Octavish, which is the other Pokemon from Sword and Shield, the other fossil Pokemon. So I had to get my hands on that thing as well. I was like, I'm really going to get all three. So once I caught this one, it was time to move on and see why we were running around this place, if we could find the third one. And then we had like a full team, which was really cool. So we finally got out of the jungle. We got into a desert biome, which was so much nicer to run around in. And one of the first things I come across was a Garchomp. And I have to have Garchomp. Cynthia's Chad Pokemon, it was just one of those things. We had to get it. So we started throwing Pokeballs, seeing what we could do. The thing was level 61 as well, which is quite high for a wild Pokemon. So I decided to throw some Pokeballs, threw some Ultra Balls, seeing if we could catch it, and we got it. And it was sent to the PC, which was great. So I just carried on bouncing around, trying to get some more Beast Balls, because I really wanted them plates. I was like, we've got to get Arceus, but every time I landed, it was a horde of Pokemon again. And then I did come across an Umbreon in the desert, which was really nice, and I was like, do I beat the horde or do I leave and run and then try and catch the Arceus? Well, it was literally every single time I was landing, it was like boom, 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 horde, horde, horde. So managed to get away from the horde. We did find an Umbreon on its own. I had to have it. I absolutely love the evolutions. We did come across a Volcarona, which was really shocking to me because I was not expecting to find a Pokemon as good as that. just wandering around, fully evolved. So I did try and catch it, but we didn't end up getting the Volcarona. But what I did spot on my minimap was a Pheromosa of all things. I just couldn't believe there was one just wandering around. And then I found out a little bit later on in the 100-day playthrough that the Beast Balls you were getting from the Beast Balls was actually for these Ultra Pokemon. To like help catch them with better catch rates. But I didn't actually know that. So I did try to catch it. And this thing was a nightmare to try and catch. And then I got disconnected. And by the time I logged back in, it was gone. I was absolutely gutted. So we were just sort of exploring around the desert a little bit more, yoinking all the Beast Balls. One thing I did notice is I started coming across a lot of really cool Pokemon. I had a Lucario there, I had a Heloisk, I had a Golem, there was Hippopotamus, and then literally I bumped into another Pheromosa. I was literally just moon dancing around, throwing Pokeballs every which way. But the Pheromosa caught so easy, I could not believe it. It was just amazing. And then, because I disconnected on the last one, I was just throwing Pokeballs every which way. There was just hordes of Pokemon around me. So, I had no PP left by this point on any of my Pokemon. All I really had was, like, struggle and stuff from all the hordes I'd been getting myself involved with. So I was literally just bounce, throw Pokeball, bounce, throw Pokeball, bounce, throw Pokeball. I love this place. It's so cool. But I had so many plates by this point as well. So I was determined to stay and finish. So I just literally got to night time. It was dust balls were coming out. I was like, what have I got left? And it was just a mad thing trying to get everything. One amazing thing was as well, I come across a den, like an Ultra Beast in the biome. It had a Groudon in it, of all things. It was like Groudon has spawned. I turned around and it was there. I was like, oh my god, I'm trying this. And then it was a case of, are we going to beat it or not? I sent in the only Pokemon I had left with PP, really, which was Mandacrozma that had like 10 HP. And I didn't realise, but you only get 4 deaths in the really high level ones. So it didn't go too well. We started battling the Groudon, we got a few deaths, and then the next thing I know is he used like a mega earthquake and just one-shot everyone. It was like boom, broken. It was absolutely gutting because I really wanted Groudon. So after like many hours of running around the desert, I came across like an electricity biome, which looked absolutely so cool. And then the Pokemon all changed to either electric Pokemon, but then I bumped into a Galarian, Graveler. And I love this dude. He's got the best eyebrows in Pokemon, seriously. We did it. I found a Dracozolt. The last one I needed for the whole set. But by this point, my Pokemon was absolutely on their last legs. I had hardly any Pokeballs left. I had no PP moves left. All my Pokemon, the only thing I had left was Xerneas with leftovers on him. And because he was so strong, he could just keep out healing the damage with leftovers. But I just kept throwing every single thing I had at this Dracozolt, and it kept breaking free, but we did get it in the end, which was amazing. So after we got the Dracozolt, I moved to the next like big pillar place, because it had like a little building next to it, which was really cool. But as I got closer and closer, I was just getting absolutely swarmed until I came across, I thought it was a shiny Yamper. I just seen stars out the corner of my eyes. It was like a legendary shiny boss. I was like, oh my days, I've got to get this thing. I remember I had a PC in my bag, so I was swapping Pokemon in and out of the PC. Anything I had leveled up that had a little bit left. But we managed to do it. I sent out Gyarados, and then I sent out Hooper. I sent out my Zekrom, who had like 66 HP. Luckily, he didn't get one shot, and Yamper went down, and we got some cool loot from it. What did we get? We got a plate. We got some XP candies, but I was loving the Pokemon here, so I literally just was battling and throwing Pokeballs every which way, and I wanted everything. And then I found an Amora, I think it was called. It was a really nice looking Pokemon. I think I'd seen one in Sword and Shield in like the expansion part before. I've never really played with it, or like been around the Pokemon much. I think I caught one and had it in Pokemon Home like forever ago. But I thought, I'll get this caught. So we got that one caught, and then we moved on. One thing I didn't know was in this game, I got jumped by a Rotom of all things. Rotom is the Pokemon. I can have it. I just want a washing machine Rotom. So I started throwing Pokeballs and got this caught as well. We now had Rotom, so I was just checking the plates. And we had what? We had 11 plates at this point. We needed 17, but I was literally getting so low at this point on everything. I was debating whether to leave and come back, but I thought I'm on such a good roll. I really wanted to just keep going. And then I bumped into a Metangable. And I was like, wow, I've got to try and get this. I had one Master Ball on me at this point, and I was like, I wonder if I'm going to bump into anything worth like catching with it. So yeah, I caught a Machamp, I caught the Metang in the end. We got everything. It was amazing. So I thought I found another one of those Ultra Beasts. Well, technically it is, but is it an Exurkitry? But it ended up being a boss. So I was like, oh my days, man, come on. So I just sent out whatever I had left at this point. Gyarados was absolutely wounded. He had Thrashing Hurricane, that was it. We were literally doing everything I could to try and survive longer, so I didn't have to go back. But I did get 2 Beast Balls from him, which was incredible. So, and then we just carried on our way, seeing what we can find. One thing I did come across is in the very, very middle of this electric zone was like a huge tower. I was determined to see what was at the top of it. So I did try my best. I got all the way up there and I tried everything. Could not get any higher, so we gave up and went back down. So on my way back down, I fell into a giant hole, which was not that fun to be fair, but I came across a Vulpix, like a black lightning Vulpix. And oh my god, I had to have that thing. It looked amazing. And then it was many minutes of me trying to get out of this hole, and then I bumped into a Ninetales version. I don't know what these Pokemon are called, but they're like black with lightning stripes. They looked, oh my days, they looked so good. I just kept throwing whatever I had left at this point. It was Safari Balls, I had a couple of Ultra Balls and things, and we did end up catching both, which was amazing. And then I had to try and get out of this hole. After like many minutes of running around that hole, trying to bounce up a cliff I could not see the side of, found a Porygon 2, which was amazing. I literally spent 3 or 4 minutes just throwing Pokeball after Pokeball of this. It just would not catch. I had to leave it in the end. My Pokemon was so beat up, the poor things. I was like at the point, I didn't have a healer at this point, or like a Silk Touch pickaxe or anything, you see. So I couldn't just sort of carry a healer around, unfortunately. I then went on to just like go back to my base. I sort of gave up for a little bit in the Ultra Space, and then all I did was literally just go through my Pokemon, level them up with all the rare candies and XP things I'd got from all the raids and things, and the mini bosses. So we got ourselves a nice Aggron and a few other things. It was great. I found raiding villagers and the Pokemarts, and like climbing up the top and everything was the best way to get restocked on things. So I was literally just flying around the world for like 2 or 3 hours getting that done. So I had enough, so when I went back into Ultra Space and from then onwards I had enough of everything. I wanted to get a couple more backpacks as well because they were so useful. And I literally bumped into a Victini, which I was stood there catching for what felt like a lifetime. It was just ball after ball after ball. Then I got back into battle with it, and I just kept throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing because I couldn't hit it because I'd one-shot it. So we just kept getting into battle, throwing Pokeballs. We did get it in the end, which was amazing. I'm never ever going to use it, but I got one. So after we got the Victini, I literally went back into town and started raiding again. And I bumped into a Meganinum. Meganinum. I can never say this thing's name. Meganinum. Basically, I wanted as many starters as Pokemon as I could get, so I had to catch it. And then we went back to raiding little towns. We were getting quite close to the second 100 days was coming to an end very soon. I'd managed to get 12 plates so far, but I really wanted to keep going, so I decided to knuckle down and let's just get all these plates done. But instead of going back to Ultra Space, I got a little bit distracted. I got some obsidian, I made a nether portal. I didn't like the nether, it was scary. I found a building. I flew down, there was a raid there, I beat the Dust Skull, everything was full of lava, everything was scary, so I just left. So, it was take 2 in Ultra Space. I thought, the nether's not for me, way too much lava for my liking. I really like this place, Ultra Space. I loved it when it rained, it looked so cool. So, we were back in, I don't know what biome this is, it's like a watery biome with everything in it, basically. And it was just a case of plate after plate, beast ball after beast ball. But we were getting there. We were getting there. It was amazing. I was so close. I think I needed like 2 or 3 more plates. So we were really just pushing for that now. So I was literally collecting beast balls through the jungle, just sort of plodding through. And I came to a biome. It was all bright yellow with red and big structures everywhere. It looked amazing. So I had to go and just check it out. And then a Regieleki spawned right on the edge of the biome I was on. I was in a mixture of like electric jungle and whatever this yellow biome was called. So I thought I'd give it a go. And we didn't catch it. So I decided to get my Tyrant that I'd found in this new biome. Straight up to a Tyrant. Oh my days, me and my names today. Tyrantrum. So that was cool. So we then carried on just getting beast balls. So we were basically at 100 days at this point. I had just managed. I got so many of each plate. Like I got 4 Pixie, 4 Ghost, 4 something else. I got a ton of XP alls. I got loads of XP candies, bottle tops, Pokeballs to like you wouldn't believe. But it was pretty much coming to an end of the 100 days now, but we'd finally got all the plates. So it was time to locate the little Arceus shrine thing to get the flute we needed. So that's it, the second 100 days. We got a lot done. We got all the stuff for Arceus. I did a lot of base building. I visited the Nether. I spent an ungodly amount of hours in that ultra space biome. So we didn't manage to get Arceus, but I am going to do another 100 days to wrap everything up, where we're going to get a Mewtwo, we're going to summon Arceus, we're going to catch them both, and we're going to do a few other little things as well. So if you've made it this far, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next 100 days. Bye guys.